What is going on, Jet fans? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, I got a couple topics to get into you on this one. The Jets lost two coaches yesterday from their staff, and Breece Hall, for some reason, was snubbed off a comeback player of the year nominee list. Just absolutely ridiculous. We're going to get into all that. What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary back with my underdog picks for championship weekend. We got two games. I got three plays for you. The first is rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking higher than 26.5. Really, it's just a spot where I feel like he can go and tuck one down and run for 20 yards. And it's like, okay, he has one more rush and then you're good to go. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey higher on his rushing yards as well, 87.5. I think they just kind of force feed him the rock play, keep away from that Detroit Lions offense for a little bit in that game. And then finally, Travis Kelce higher than 6 receptions. I know that's kind of a big number, 6 receptions, but it seems like we always see Travis Kelce in the playoffs, going off with Patrick Mahomes, championship weekend, the chance to get to the Super Bowl. I think he has a big game. 3 plays, $10 to win 60. Sign up using my link down below in the description and receive a 100% match deposit bonus. All right, let's start with the coaches. Michael Gabriel was hired by the New York Giants as a special teams coordinator. So he was with the New York Jets for the past 3 years, working under Brant Boyer. Brant Boyer is one of the best special team coaches in the game. He is someone who has just survived multiple staffs, multiple regimes, and continues to put out just stellar units. They finished top 3 in special teams DVOA in 2 of the past 3 seasons. This past year, they finished 3rd. They are a very, very good unit, and really all aspects of it, right? Like your kicker, punter, big upgrade at punter this year. The return game won a game for them in week 1. And it's something that you would hope that a year 2 Xavier Gipson improves at even with that one. But it's someone who has experience as a special teams coordinator too in the college ranks before that. And he gets a gig from the New York Giants. So the Jets lose an assistant to an assistant positional coach specialty, and now they get their own staff or get their own job with another organization, and the Giants aren't all that far, so he doesn't have to really uproot his life too much, which is always a plus for him. Happy for that. Again, Brant Boyer's done a really good job with this unit. I'm happy to see that Gabriel gets a job somewhere. And that wasn't the only one, as Ricky Manning was hired by the Raiders to be their cornerback coach. So who is Ricky Manning? He was a defensive coach under Tony Oden for the last 3 years. Really, when you look at it, the Jets corners have been just downright incredible. They have maybe the best trio of corners. I would say the best trio of corners in the game, with Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, and Michael Carter II in the slot. Really, it's only a matter of time before they lose some of these guys. But while I want to make this clear, I am very, very happy for Manning to get his own positional coaching gig, and same thing with Michael Gabriel. But eventually, if this staff stays for the next little while here and the defense continues to play the way that it does, I think it's really only a matter of time before guys like Tony Oden are leaving for a defensive coordinator job, or maybe Jeff Ulbrich is someone who is leaving for a head coaching job. And that's a really good problem to have. I remember when originally when the staff was hired, the irony was that people were worried about the Mike LaFleur hire because he could leave to be a head coach at some point. That ended up not being the case, as he was let go after 2 years. But I remember at the time thinking, what a great problem to have. What a first world problem that would be, that the Jets offense would be so good and that Zach Wilson would be so good that someone would want to hire their offensive coordinator. That would be a fantastic issue to have. And now that's kind of how I feel about, guys on the special team staff and defensive staff getting plucked. And nobody wants to touch anybody on the offensive staff. Hard to blame them, right? It's not a very good unit. but that's where they need to catch up. That's kind of just the overarching theme for this team, right? Like, special teams is really good. Defense is very, very good. Offense, historically bad. If they could just take a step up and be average to a little above average, there's no denying that this is going to be a very, very good team. Now, the second part of this video that I wanted to get into is Breece Hall being snubbed for comeback player of the year. Not necessarily that he had to win it. Like, I know DeMar Hamlin didn't play a lot this year, but him getting, the nominee and probably winning the award isn't going to bother me. But there's 5 guys on this list that were nominated, and I don't know how Breece Hall isn't in the top 5 for someone who missed all last season with an ACL and finished 4th in all-purpose yards in the NFL. What do you mean? The guy played 7 games last year, and now comes back, plays all 17 games and finished with 1,600 all-purpose yards. Guy's an absolute animal. But Joe Flacco got the nomination for comeback player of the year. What he was coming back from, I'm not sure. Like, he went from a backup quarterback to a backup quarterback and came in, and his team got to the playoffs, and that's great, I guess. But Joe Flacco gets a nomination. Baker Mayfield gets a nom, which, all right, maybe I'll give you Baker, right? He was someone who, bounced around last year. He was with Carolina at first, and then he ends up going to the Rams and then fills in pretty nicely with the Bucs this year. Stafford, okay, missed a lot of time last year, played really well, but then the last one, Tua. What is Tua coming back from? He played in 13 games last year. He played in a ton of games. What's the benchmark for what the comeback player of the year is? I know he ended up, again, he missed some time down the stretch, but he played a majority of last year. What do we mean, the comeback player of the year? The Tua and Flacco ones, I think, are the 2 worst ones. Hamlin, Mayfield, and Stafford, understandable, but I don't know how Breece Hall is not on that list. That's kind of crazy. And I feel for Breece. But listen, it's going to feel a lot better next year when he's another year removed from the ACL, playing with Aaron Rodgers, playing behind a hopefully much improved offensive line. And we'll be talking about a guy who probably runs for, 1,100 yards and has another 600 to 700 receiving yards. Somewhere in that range. That would be pretty impressive. Sign me up for that. So while it's annoying that he didn't get nominated for comeback player of the year, bigger fish to fry, right? And that's kind of what Breece Hall said on social media. I get it from his perspective. You feel a little disrespected, and you want, that deserved recognition, but next year, 2024, have bigger things to prove. There we go. Those are the 2 big storylines that I wanted to get into. Some coaches leave, as well as Breece Hall getting snubbed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please, before you go, leave a like. It really helps me out if you could like the video before you go. Subscribe if you're new, and if you haven't subscribed yet, that's also a free way to help out the channel. Appreciate you guys. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.